So first of all, my congratulations to Maurizio. As India, we ourselves have organized these discussions in the past 1 year and this year itself. And I think it is a wonderful opportunity where all of us, I think, can exchange views and learn from each other. Now, we know that we may not agree with each other, but it is nevertheless a wonderful opportunity, I think, to hear from each other and perhaps get some ideas how we can steer this conversation forward. As far as my country is concerned, and I was very happy to see that one of the speakers mentioned that we are in a difficult time, there are multiple crises, and therefore it is but natural for us to expect that the Security Council too will evolve. Now we all know, and I'm saying nothing new, that in 1945 it was a different world. Today is a completely different world. The membership of the United Nations has grown fourfold. Crises have increased. Crises are transnational in nature, which require us to act together. The question that we have to ask ourselves is this: is the Security Council, as it is configured today, equipped to maintain international peace and security? And I do not need to even answer that question. I think we can all look around and see the answer there for ourselves. And I did notice that one of the speakers did say that perhaps the solution is that we should look at expansion in the non-permanent category alone. Well, respectfully, I would put this before you. If you do so, you are going down the path of piecemeal reform. That is not meaningful reform. And what about bringing a greater diversity of voices to the table? What about having thereby a more consensual decision making? What about therefore having more democracy on the table? And finally, how does this rectify the historical injustice that has been meted to Africa? As we all know, and our colleague on the dais, who is, I think, from the African Union, did mention that the African position is that they seek 2 permanent seats. But if we go for piecemeal reform, this will not at all meet the requirements or expectations of the African Union, or for that matter, other underserved and unrepresented regions. So there is very much a thinking, and we appreciate that, and I've said so at the outset, that we don't agree with each other. It is a well-known fact, but that is okay. I think that is part of the process here in the United Nations, that we have different viewpoints, we bring different strengths to the table, and we can, at the end of the day, hopefully still hope to find a way forward. But I would very respectfully put this across to the speaker on the dais that if you only push for piecemeal reform, that is not going to set the house in order. That is not going to meet the requirement of the global south. You need to get more representatives from Africa and from Latin America and also from Asia on the top table. This expansion in the piecemeal, this expansion in the non-permanent category is only piecemeal. Let us remember that also. So, what we feel very strongly is coming to the intergovernmental negotiations in the United Nations, which is an ongoing process, as you know. The only way to take this forward, to put this to the test, is very much to have text-based negotiations within a specified time frame. That is absolutely essential. And when I say this, this is nothing very new. Every process of the United Nations, as we all know, has a text and a timeline. This is the only process that has distinguished itself without a text or a timeline. That is incredible. It is unbelievable that we've been speaking for 30, 40 years without a text and without a timeline. And we are often told that before you have a text, there must be a consensus before the text. That is truly unheard of. The opportunity for all of us in constructive mode, as we stare at the summit of the future, the UN summit of the future, which is round the corner, is to seriously negotiate with a text and a timeline, so that in this one opportunity that we are getting to set the system right, to look to the future and not look to the past, that we do come up with an ambitious outcome. And as we all would appreciate and know and perhaps agree, the times demand that we are ambitious on this front itself, because without a reform of the United Nations Security Council, a comprehensive reform, we will just be continuing to do more of the same. And I do want to add, as I conclude here, that when we speak of comprehensive reform, it is not just about reform in the permanent category, or rather expansion in the permanent category. We are also seeking a reform of the working methods of the Security Council, which includes the question of the veto. So comprehensive reform with early reform at its core is very much a proposal that we would like to put on the table. And as I sign off, once again, thank you very much, Maurizio. We do appreciate the initiative that you've taken and a wonderful opportunity for all of us to put our views on the table. We might not fully agree with each other, but that is the whole process and the idea behind the discussion and hopefully the negotiation. And I think there is one coming up next week. So thank you very much.